Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Simply Aggressive. Today I'm sharing both a story as well as a lesson I seem to have recently learned, or so I'm told. Last week I had a part of my life unravel, and it caused me a great deal of sadness, anger, emotional distress, turmoil, and fucking just anguish. I very quickly began responding to this by having feelings of craving my emotional dysfunctional habits. And at the same time, I have this whole great new tool bag full of tools and coping mechanisms that are healthy ways of dealing with life's hard times. So I found a way, apparently, to walk the middle ground, which I think is an extremely healthy place for people who were raised with dysfunction and trying to be better people to get to. It kind of jives with that fluid acceptance and that gray zone that I really believe is a great place for anyone to live. So what are dysfunctional coping mechanisms? This is the unhealthy shit that we do to pacify or distract ourselves when we have issues or emotional pain. This includes everything from overdrinking, drug abuse, dysfunctional eating habits, excessive exercise, obsessive cleaning, indulgent or unrestricted spending, bad sleep habits, binge TV watching, socially isolating yourself, relationship sabotaging, overscheduling ourselves, and responsibility bombing. Huge fucking list, I know. And all of that is absolutely dysfunctional coping mechanisms for emotional turmoil that everyone experiences. So functional or healthy coping mechanisms start with a baseline of self-awareness. This is when we choose actions and behaviors that incorporate an awareness of our shitty feelings and understanding where they come from and facing them. We do this by booking counseling sessions with goals, reaching out to friends and loved ones and admitting we need support, putting healthy food and nutrients in our bodies to nourish ourselves, getting enough rest and taking mental breaks from our discomfort so we don't spiral out, keeping a minimum of our responsibilities to allow us space to be gentle with ourselves while not pushing ourselves or having avoidant behavior. And then also setting boundaries and limits for things that provide us relief, such as exercise, watching TV, or even drinking. And also things like journaling, meditating, or taking time to sit with our feelings and our emotional discomfort. Sounds fucking annoying, holier than thou, and painful, right? Yeah, it is. It totally sucks sometimes to have healthy coping mechanisms. That's why people pick heavy drinking, staying at home from work and crying and watching TV for a month. It's fucking hard to pick the healthier choices. But when you're a person trying to grow and live beyond your damage, you have to take the uphill climb. Sorry, not sorry. So a quick recap on self-awareness. Everyone has self-awareness, but there's a huge range for people to have. Everyone is aware of their own existence. This is base level. I know I exist, and I know this is me. Well-developed self-awareness is about being able to have discussions about yourself with yourself. It's the ability to comment, question, and critique your own actions or behaviors and choices all before, during, and after your experiences. It's also referred to as having a watcher. It's another voice in your head, not schizophrenia, that allows a second commentary about who you are and what you're doing. It's a good thing. Everyone should have this and work on it to develop it. An example would be, I drink. I'm a drinker. I'm an alcoholic, or I drink. The second level would be, I drink because I'm mad, sad, or in pain. The next level would be, drinking is a coping mechanism I use because I have things that make me sad, upset, or angry. The next level would be something like, I know that drinking is a coping mechanism I use and others use for pain and sadness and grief, and I can choose, and I'm going to try to choose healthier coping mechanisms right now or currently or in the future, and I can and I will. So that's kind of a example of that range of having a watcher and having discussions with yourself and asking questions or critiquing. So last Friday morning started with tears for me. A lot of them. A part of my life came unraveled. I was angry, hurt, frustrated, confused, and felt like I really lost control of the situation. My internal damage started. I said to myself, just stay in bed. Cancel your day. Don't get dressed. Don't get up. You don't have to go anywhere. Don't let people see you in pain. Just stay here and cry. Unfortunately, I have another layer of dysfunction. It says, are you kidding? You're just crying. You have shit to do. Get your weak ass out of bed. Get dressed. Don't be late. Crying and emotional pain are not an excuse for anything. Your legs work, your hands work. Get up, get going, get after it. You have shit to do. Crying about this is pathetic. Don't let this interrupt your day. So, lucky for me, I have the tools. So even though that talk happened, I was able to respond to my own damaged habits. I took control of my internal voice. I spoke to myself with gentle and kind, but firm discipline. It's okay to be upset. You don't have to hide. Call the dental office and tell them you'll be late. Then make your list for how to get from your bed to your car. Put on some coffee. Wash your face and brush your teeth. Put on comfortable clothes. Where's your purse? Grab your coffee. Where are your keys? Pick your shoes. You're at the back door. Open it. Don't worry about people seeing that you've cried. I kept the appointments I needed and didn't lie to people about how my day was going. I told the dental hygienist that I had been doing some crying, but I was going to be okay. I told my chiropractor that I had a difficult morning, but I was going to do the best I could with what the day was offering me. I picked up my daughter for dance, and I told her she needed to play gentle with me that day. When I spent time with my daughter, I focused on the present. Everything, I just let it be about her. We cuddled, we read books, we watched a movie. When her dad picked her up, I set boundaries. I told him I would be unavailable for the next 24 hours. Then I called a friend. I drank all the wine. I smoked all the cigarettes I wanted to. I did the yelling and the crying, and I ate every carbohydrate I could get my hands on, and I ate every piece of chocolate I could find, and we went to the bar. But I set a limit, and I did it only for that night. The next day, I went to the gym. I ran my errands. I worked on my projects. I ate healthy food and put good things in my body, and I limited my wine intake that second night. That doesn't mean I was better or healed. That's not how life works. Whether you get rejected or lose your job, or your kids are driving you crazy and you feel like a horrible parent, or a loved one dies and you feel utterly fucking alone, you can't fix it by just avoiding dysfunctional habits and rewiring yourself to have better ones. That's not how pain, grief, discomfort, struggle, and distress that can be prevalent and linger. That's not how they work. So we develop this resiliency by learning to cope for the period of time it takes to get through that battle, to the scabs, to the healed wounds. It's a process. When dysfunctional coping mechanisms, what they do is they pacify while sabotaging. We allow coping mechanisms to become a crutch and ruin our lives. We go from functional people to backsliding into our self-soothing methods and making them a lifestyle that cripples our self-worth. We become the bad behavior and we hate ourselves for it. And it's because we're not only allowing our emotional discomfort to snap its jaws at us from the outer rim, we are busying ourselves with being shitty people. So walking the middle ground comes from a way of life of understanding fluid acceptance. It's about living in the gray zone and making it your bitch. You don't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be a saint. That's not possible for anyone. Black and white are these tiny little sections of life, and nobody fucking fits in them. You don't have to choose between being broken or being fixed. The gray zone has so much more room for you to be a healthy person. But Of course, Wednesday rolled around and I sat on my kitchen floor and I started to cry again. My house had no booze in it, but that's all I wanted. I was in so much emotional distress that I was literally uncomfortable in my own skin. I wanted to eat every piece of food in my house, but I don't eat after 8 p.m. anymore. I wanted to do all the chores and clean everything, but now I live as a minimalist and all my chores were already done. I was in so much pain. I was fighting all of my bad coping mechanisms, and it hurt more not only to be fighting what was causing my grief, but also be fighting against my own bad wiring. So I called a friend. I chose my first healthy tool. I didn't isolate and I didn't lie about how I was feeling. The friend I called knows that my favorite thing when I'm down is to hear about someone I love having a good day. So after she told me a bunch of cute and funny stories about her day, she asked, "So what are your tools?" Take a break from it. Go color. Go watch TV. And it's okay to have a bowl of ice cream. It's okay to have a plate of cheese and crackers. It's okay to let yourself have some room. Then go get some rest. Don't be so hard on yourself. You're loved and I love you. It's okay. And you're going to be okay. The wise fucking words of someone who knows functional recovery. So my message is about finding ways to thrive in this life instead of just survive this life. I recently heard Tony Robbins use the word knowledge broker. I'm not sharing something new or profound. My goal is simply to be another voice in the choir to make the message of self-growth and healing louder. You can live beyond your damage. I have and I am, and you can too. I love all of you. Thank you so much for watching. This has been another episode of Simply Aggressive, and make sure to find the middle ground for yourself. You're not a fucking saint, but you don't have to be broken.